If you put the children's play area of a mall on its ground floor, the mall will have no business. It is always put on the top floor.
Interesting.
It has to be put on the top floor. Is it great usability? No, it's not. You have to climb all the way up and go there. And if you have observed, the food court is right next to the play area.
Right.
That's because the children will play, they get hungry, they'll ask for something. And that's how you build cross-sell models.
Right.
You don't think usability like what is best for the customer. If I put it all on the ground floor, it is very easy to access. You don't run a business like that.
Right.
Like, if you asked a very socialistic question like, did I keep my customer's interest in every single move? No, you have to marry that with what exactly are you trying to do. You are creating a mall.
Yeah.
You need to optimize for people walking, people seeing, window shopping, eating, watching movies. Does it ever make sense to put a movie theater in a mall?
Yeah.
It doesn't, because many people just come to watch the movies, might end up buying something.
Right.
So the principle of design systems in credit is that upsell, cross-sell is at the heart of everything that we do.
Right.
You need to be able to cross-sell.
Right.
Which is how the design system is built. First of all, Nikhil, I think you should design for both form and function.
Sure.
I went very passionately berserk because I generally told by people that design for function, if you have time, design for form.
Fair enough.
So I hear that a lot, like form trails function. No, form doesn't trail function. Form and function are together.
Right.
You have no function if there is no form.
Right.
So that is all I'm trying to say. Like, if it is not nicely polished, it's not good function.
Right.
So I'm only saying that you have to say that you have built good function only if you have good form.
Fair
You
enough.
can't quite say I will focus on form later, let me focus on function. Is somebody who has a very scant understanding of design
Fair
or
enough.
humans.
We do at Netflix, right? At Netflix, we have been very deliberate about implementing regulatory mandates thoughtfully, with very close ecosystem collaboration and customer education to minimize customer disruption. If you're going to stay true to what you want to achieve in terms of payments not being the hindrance to customers experiencing the product or service, I think you would have achieved what you want to. And therefore, it requires a sit down for service providers who are in this space, sit down with the merchants to really understand what is it that they want to service them for, right? There are a lot of service providers who would say, do your business, leave your payments to us. And I think that's a great tagline.
How did you, Nikhil, journey from converting your passion project into building the Beam app all in 3 weeks in your 20s?
Well, I mean, a lot many times in life we kind of try to look back and try to find patterns of why things happened. Because at that moment we don't usually realize, the events that lead to, things that happen in my life, in your life. So I've been a big fan of what we call as butterfly effect, where one thing leads to another and another thing leads to another. I think the one simple theme that I have found is, generally having Kida in life, where you're like, I want to do something beyond what I'm doing and stuff like that. And, I think I can probably go back to referring to this, I can see that the Kida is what led to one thing to another. You guys are moving money like the way we like messages, because people still pay their rents by mailing a physical check and so on and so forth. I think markets like, America, UK, France, Germany, all these developed economies are also well suited to adopt something like UPI, because at the core, UPI is actually a payments protocol. So what that means is you can basically leverage the protocol and build applications on top of it.
What do you think marketing goals should be for a startup? And when and what should be done? How?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Tanya, and this is a question that I consistently get asked across a lot of startup interactions that I have with a lot of entrepreneurs on when should I deploy marketing funds, how much should I deploy marketing funds is a consistent top of mind question for a lot of entrepreneurs. And my one point advice to them, especially if you're early stage, is to not start spending on marketing to begin with. And I realize that this is probably not in my own best interest to say this, given that I'm a marketer myself, but this is a single point of feedback.
Fortunately, it's a second venture for me, so gone through challenges much more difficult in the first venture. Like I started the first venture in 2011 when startups were not very common, and the fundings were not very common. So I've seen this cycle. So I think mental toughness is kind of there. So I don't think so I felt like quitting ever. Felt low many times, like when things are not moving, when the product is not getting launched on time, you feel like frustrated. But I think one thing I keep telling myself that you have to keep pushing yourself. And I like sort of convince myself to push towards the next day, towards the next week, and something better will happen. That's the hope. And so I take one day at a time, and that has helped me to forget what happened previous day, start a new day afresh, and that's the mantra, to sort of have a nice new day every day.
Should India embrace cryptocurrencies as a legitimate form of payment, or are they too risky for mainstream adoption?
Is crypto even legitimate? Let me give you an example. If you look at the whole crypto world, and there's one guy called CoffeeZilla, I watch his channel quite frequently. The number of scams to number of genuine businesses, I would say there are 10 scams and probably one genuine business. And I don't even know if that genuine business is genuine, but the scams I know are genuine. So effectively, if this was the industry you were in, I would think that, a industry like, say, someone peddling drugs is far safer because you end up getting the drugs. Here, I don't know. It's just a Ponzi scheme on a large scale. So I don't even think that this question that India should embrace, it should just be, it's a social experiment which is generating as much carbon emission as Argentina is without any social benefit. India has done the right thing banning this a long time ago.
What works, in fact, the other thing very often we see when we interact with global clients and legal advisors, people don't look at India anymore. They look at India as a continent. The business strategy that works in a Gujarat won't work in a Maharashtra, won't work in a Tamil Nadu, won't be in Kerala. There's no one model.
There's no one size fits all. Yeah, true.